Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 in our series, Reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So yeah, I know last time we spent like 3 minutes just talking, so yeah, let's get straight into the video. Wait, I just realized something. Where even is the book? Where is it? Where is it? Where are you? Oh! Found it. Okay, so what page were we on last time? 11? I think so. Okay, I think we were on page 11. When it started to snow, Dad rolled the boat under the back deck, and it sat there all winter. In the spring, Mom started using it to store all sorts of junk from the house. The next summer, Dad decided he was going to fix the boat. But when he went to pull it out from under the deck, he discovered a family of raccoons living in our old washing machine. Scream! Dad called an exterminator to get rid of the raccoons, but when he heard how much that was going to cost, he decided he'd take care of it himself. By then, Manny had heard about the baby raccoons living in the washing machine, and Mom had to step in. Go! The boat's been sitting there ever since. I haven't heard any scurrying sounds coming from under the deck for a while, so I'm guessing the raccoons moved out. Today, Mom told Dad he had the whole rest of the summer to get his boat out on the water, and he pretty much gave up after that. Mom said we're going to leave first thing in the morning, so we needed to start packing for the trip. She told everyone to bring the bare essentials so we could fit everything in the minivan. But by the time we got all our stuff out in the driveway, it was pretty clear we had a space problem. Mom started going through everything and sorting it into 2 piles, the things we needed and the things we didn't. Roderick was pretty disappointed when some of his essentials didn't make the cut. He had his drums. Mom made me leave a bunch of small stuff behind, which seemed pretty ridiculous considering that Manny's plastic potty was coming along for the ride. Whenever we take a trip that's longer than 15 minutes, Mom brings Manny's potty, just in case. But I get really uncomfortable whenever Manny uses it. Mom wouldn't let me and Roderick take any electronics on the trip, even though they barely take up any space. She's always saying kids these days don't know how to socialize because they've constantly got their nose 2 inches from a screen. Pretty true. But I'll tell you this, when I have kids, I'm going to let them play whatever kind of gadget they want. And if you ask me, electronics are the key to the family happiness. Even after Mom went through every single item in the driveway and cut out all the things we didn't need, there was still way too much things to fit in the van. I suggested we rent one of those giant recreational vehicles because we could fit all our stuff in it and have room to spare. That's what I just read. The way I see it, if you want the whole family to get along, everyone needs their own space. And with one of those souped up RVs, we could spend weeks on the road without even bumping into another. But Mom said RVs are too expensive and they get terrible gas mileage, so that put an end to that idea. Roderick said maybe we can get one of those trailers you tow behind the car, which sounded smart to me. That's what I just read. It was pretty clear Roderick was imagining the trailer as some sort of mini apartment for himself, so that wasn't going to fly either. Then Dad rang in with his own idea. He said we could solve the whole space issue by just putting the stuff that we didn't fit in the van in the boat, which we could tow behind us. I think Mom realized there wasn't really another option, so she caved in. But getting the boat into the driveway was easier said than done. That's what I just read. Not only do we have to take all the junk out of the boat, but it turned out there was a tree growing through the bottom. It took 3 hours to get the boat out from under the deck. And let me just say, Mom did not exactly go out for her way to help. After we got the boat into the driveway, Dad patched up a hole in the bottom and the crack in the hole with some duct tape. I just hope we're not going anywhere near water on this trip, though. That's what I just read. You guys can read it yourself right there. You can pause the video. Okay, next page. Because as far as I know, the boat didn't come with any life preservers, I don't know. Saturday. Even with the added space we got from the boat, the minivan was still pretty full. I snuck my pillow on board at the last second because I decided I was entitled to at least one luxury item. I figured Roderick would want to sit in the back of the van because wherever we go, anywhere as a family, he likes to stretch out and take a nap. Every once in a while, we'd forget Roderick is even back there. That's what I just read. This Easter, we made it halfway through the church before Mom realized Roderick never made it out of the van. Back when we had a station wagon, me and Roderick used to sit in the back together in a seat that faced the rear window. But we got in big trouble when we played a practical joke on Mom and Dad that ended up getting us pulled over by the police. And when we got in the van today, Roderick offered me the back seat. That's what I just read. I accepted before he could change his mind, but I should have known his offer was too good to be true. Before we pulled out of the driveway, Mom said we were taking a special guest along for the ride. For a second, I was worried we were picking someone else up, because with all our stuff in the van, they'd have to sit on the roof. But Mom opened her purse and pulled out a piece of paper with a drawing on it. That's what I just read. The drawing was Flat Stanley, a character from a book I read in 2nd grade. Flat Stanley is a boy who gets squashed by a bulletin board that falls on his bedroom wall in the middle of the night. And when they pull the bulletin board off him, he's as thin as a piece of paper. That's what I just read. I thought it was pretty cool that Flat Stanley could fold himself and get mail to his grandma's or have his brother fly him like a kite. But I'll tell you this, if Flat Stanley had a brother like Roderick, I guarantee he wouldn't survive a full day. Scream! That's what I just read. I really liked the book, but it kind of freaked me out too. One thing it did was give me a deathly fear of bulletin boards. Are you sure you don't want the bed? It's a lot more comfy. That's okay, you take it. In 2nd grade, everyone in my class had to color a cutout of Flat Stanley and mail it to him, mail him to a friend or relative who lived far away. Then that person was supposed to take a picture of Flat Stanley in front of something interesting and mail it back with the photo. That's what I just read. I'm sick. I'll go next. My friend Rowley sent Flat Stanley to a bunch of his relatives and got lots of cool pictures back. Rowley even sent one to his uncle who lives in Asia. He took a picture of Flat Stanley in front of the Great Wall of China. Well, the first person Mom sent my Flat Stanley to was her cousin Stacy, who lives in Seattle. But it probably wasn't her best choice. Stacy, one of those people who hoard all sorts of stuff, like newspapers and magazines, so Mom should have known that once her cousin got her hands on it, Flat Stanley wasn't coming back. That's what I just read. Today, Mom said she was going to take photos of our new flat Stanley in front of all the cool places we visit and then make a scrapbook of our trip. As soon as we got on the highway, she started snapping pictures, but she was probably a little too eager because the first few pictures weren't exactly keepers. And that's what I just read. And, well, guys, I think I'm going to end part 2 here. We are about to start page 28. So, put that in the comments so I remember. Or I can just put it in the bookmark, if that too. And I will see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe. And come on, let's reach my goal of 100 subscribers. Bye!